Hello, it's Sheila from the libraries and I'd like to make something with you today, and it's nearly Christmas, as you can probably tell from my Christmas hat. What we're going to make today is something for Christmas Jumper Day, and Christmas Jumper Day this year is on Friday, and I thought rather than go out and buy one, I would make one because, as you know, I do like to recycle things. And I've got a couple of jumpers and I'm going to show you that you don't need to go out and buy a new one. You can just use whatever you have at home. So for this activity we're going to need preferably some felt or some little scraps of material. And we're going to start first of all making a Christmas pudding that we're going to attach onto a jumper. So we need to draw out the stuff first of all, and I've already done that. So here I've got some brown felt and I've just drawn a round circle. So I've just used a small plate, drawn round the small plate as my template, and then I'm just going to cut round that. So that's going to be my Christmas pudding shape. And then on top, you will probably all know this, but it's really nice having something like brandy butter or some icing on top. So what I've done is, I've done half the plate and then made a nice curvy line. And so that's going to look like the icing or the brandy butter dripping down your Christmas pudding. As well as that, we also need some holly to sit on the top. So I've drawn out a little bit of holly. So that's our holly there. So I thought we'd have 2 bits of holly, and as well as some holly, I thought we'd cut out 3 red little berries just to make it look a bit more realistic. So all you do is, when you've drawn out your template, you just then attach it onto your piece of felt and you cut round each of those. And you will end up with your Christmas pudding shape, your dripping brandy butter, and your little bits of holly and your little red berries as well. So we're just going to now place them all together. So as soon as we do that, it immediately starts to look like a Christmas pudding. We're then just going to add in a bit of holly on that side and a bit of holly on that side, and then we're going to add our 3 red berries at the top. Now there's various ways that you can attach all of this together. If you want, you can just use something like PVA glue, that will stick everything together. But because I quite like my recycling, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sew it all together, and I'm just looking around for my needle and thread. I think I've put it down somewhere. Here it is over here. So I've got a needle and thread here, and I'm going to actually just stitch all of these together if I can. So let me just get that ready. So here's my needle and thread, and we need to make sure that you've got a knot at the end of it, because otherwise your thread comes all the way through. So, oops, try again with that, and there we go. So I've got a knot in one end, and then all I'm going to do is, so I'm going to position everything just where I want it, and then I'm just going to take my needle and thread, I'm just going to pull it all the way through. So I'm going to try and do all the layers together like that. So that's one of my berries on, and then so I'm just going to need a few stitches, and then I'm going to do this top one here to hold everything in place, and there and there, like that. And then I'm going to go into this third one. I'm just going to move this slightly. There we go. So the third one, and if you try and catch in the holly as well, you'll go through the layer, the Christmas pudding layer, the icing layer, and your holly and your red berry. So it's as easy as that. It's just a few simple stitches. And don't worry if your stitches aren't particularly neat, mine aren't at all. But it doesn't matter, because it's only going to be just worn for a few days in the run up to Christmas. And then you're just going to tie a knot in the ends of that, like that. And if I pick that up, it's completely fine. Then what you can do is, I've got a jumper here, and what I was going to do was I was going to then sew it on to the front of my jumper. So here's my jumper here, and then just going to put this, decide where I wanted it, kind of right bang smack in the middle, like that. And then you can sew around it, like just straight on. So the easiest thing to do is just put your hand behind and just put a couple of stitches. The alternative to that is even simpler. So I'm going to show you what to do if you don't want to do any stitching. So another type of Christmas jumper you might want to make is a Christmas tree. And over here, I decided in advance that I would have a Christmas tree that looked like this. So you just draw out your template and then attach it onto your green felt, cut round that, and we could then stick that down. And then what I've done is I found this lovely long piece of sequins, red sequins, and I decorated my tree. So this is one that I've made already. So I just cut out, this is my green felt tree that I've cut out already. I cut out a little yellow star as well. And then I just crisscrossed the sequins across the Christmas tree like that. And if you don't like sewing, I'll turn it around and you can see what I've done. So this is a bit of a, whoops, for one day only wearing. I've just managed to drop that, sorry. I have just put some double-sided tape on it. So if you're just going to wear this for the one day, for Christmas jumper day, what you can do is just add some double-sided tape on the back. And then I've got my jumper here. I've got another jumper. So this is a much smaller jumper. So we can put that there. I'm going to lay this down on here just now. And just going to put this roughly towards the top and in the middle. Hopefully that's okay. Like that, I'm going to stick it down. You can use glue to do it, but if you just do something like that, you can see how easy it is to produce a Christmas jumper day, do a Christmas jumper just for the day. So if you're just wanting it to wear it on Friday, then that's all you need to do, is just use some double-sided sticky tape. And it looks absolutely fabulous. So remember, if you're doing your Christmas pudding, you're just going to attach it just using a few stitches. I'll start it off so that you can see what it looks like. So I've got some thread here, and let me just get a knot in that so it doesn't come through. So like that. And then you can put it like that, and all you're going to do is just do a few stitches. So, oops, my thread's come away. So I'm not going to bother actually, but you get the idea. All you're going to do now is just sew that on like that, and I will do it properly and post a picture of it as well so that you can actually see it when it's all finished. But that's a really easy way to make a Christmas jumper for Christmas jumper day. So thanks a lot for watching, and see you all soon. Bye for now.